It's 6 o'clock, and we will call the meeting to order. If you will please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and stay standing for the invocation.
What would we do without Mike, right? And I meant that Mike. Sorry, that joke has legs. So in meeting with a student that was interested about history, I had to ask them a history question. But I won't embarrass you, but we'll ask the council, okay? Is this headline from 1865 true or false? Booth saves Lincoln. True or false? Booth saves Lincoln.
Oh, true, because he saved his son from the railroads.
Yes, Edwin Booth, John Wilkes' brother, saved the Lincoln's son, Robert, who fell onto railroad tracks, and saved him just before the train came to run him over. So you need to give your teacher a hand, because he's absolutely right. And actually, I lied a little bit. I'm a pastor, so I have to admit it. It was 1864 and not 65. But I had to kind of do this. But what I'm saying before I pray is that sometimes things are not as we seem to think. And the world is kind of that way today. Don't be discouraged. There's so much to look forward to. And I believe together, we've got some great things that we can do. And you've got some good leaders who are probably talking behind my back, right? Standing behind my back is what I should have said. And I hope that you appreciate them. And I want to pray for you and them at this time. Lord, thank you for this opportunity to be here. Thank you for a chance to listen and hear and see what you're doing, what we're doing. And Lord, I pray today that you would give wisdom to our leaders, strength to those who serve us, because I know their job is hard. It's exhausting, tiring, and sometimes they're not appreciated for what they do. But I'm praying today that they will feel the love, your love and our love. Bless all those who are listening, and especially these students, because they are today and tomorrow for us. And we thank you. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Basile. Mike, if you'll take the roll call, please.
Councilman Marcos.
Here.
Councilman Blevins.
Here.
Councilman Schlack.
Present.
Councilman Valerius.
Here.
Councilman Lloyd.
Here.
Pro Tem Lally.
Here.
And Mayor McLeod.
Here.
We have a quorum, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Motion, Mayor.
Motion by Mr. Schleck.
Second.
Second by Mr. Marcos. Any corrections or changes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. May I have a motion to approve the minutes from the meeting of May 23rd?
Point of information, I've got to add that before we vote on them, I will be amending or changing them. And it is on the convene into closed session. Councilman Blevins did cast a no vote. So it was not unanimous. Blevins was a no vote. And before I have you sign the minutes, I will have that
Thank you.
reflected as such. Thank you.
Okay, may I have a motion to approve the minutes as they will be amended? That was Mr. Lally.
Yes.
Second.
Second by Mr. Blevins. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That has carried. Before we move on to organizational business, I understand that we have members of the PRISM Club here this evening. Welcome you. In May, I read a proclamation. As we all know, June is Pride Month. You were unable to make it to our May meeting. If you would, anyone would like to come up and speak at this point, and I would also like to give you the official proclamation.
Good evening, Mayor McLeod and members of Allen Park City Council. I am Christian Hernandez, a junior at Allen Park High School. On behalf of the Allen Park High School Prism Club, I would like to thank you for recognizing Pride Month in our city and for inviting us to speak this evening. The Prism Club is a club for students who identify with the LGBTQ+ community and students who are their allies. Our club works to improve inclusivity and acceptance at our high school. To accomplish this, we focus on awareness and service to others. This year, we were involved in many projects like marching in the homecoming parade and fundraising to support the Ruth Ellis Center, the Trevor Project, and the Ozone House. Liliana and I would like to explain how important it is to have support of the Allen Park community.
First of all, I want to thank Mrs. McMaster and Mrs. Keene for supporting the Prism Club. I'd also like to thank the City Council for giving us this opportunity to speak with you all today. What the Prism Club and Pride Month means to me is that I am able to be myself and that I can be comfortable with who I am. When I was at the Allen Park Middle School, I didn't have the kind of support that I do now. At the middle school, it didn't seem as welcoming to be different in terms of mine or anyone else's sexuality. From what I noticed throughout my years of middle school was that a lot of us were starting to question ourselves about who we were and what our preferences were and how we wanted to be identified. It would have been very helpful to have a club like this to support us during that time. When I went to the high school orientation at the end of 8th grade and I learned that this club existed at the high school, I was very excited. It was something I looked forward to the most about going to high school. Knowing that there was a place and a group that supported people like me and my friends meant everything. I am very fortunate to have a family that supported me when I first came out and still supports me. Unfortunately, not everybody has that. So for those people who don't have that at home, they can at least find that support and comfort at school within our club. It can make a huge difference in someone's life. So a big part of the Prism Club and who we are is making sure that we have a safe place for everyone, and we want to make everybody feel at home. This club is not just for people who are a part of the LGBTQ+ community, but it is also for people who support us and want to be there for us and help understand us better, because everybody has a right to be who they are. They have the right to love who they want to love, and they shouldn't be judged for it. I personally identify as pansexual, and what that means is that I like girls, boys, and transgenders. Who I like isn't based on someone's gender, because what matters to me is who the person is inside. So the meaning behind pansexuality is exactly that. We don't look at gender, we love the person. We don't look at the person as a he, she, they, or as anything they identify as. We would love them for who they are. People may not agree with you for who you love or how you identify, but no one should hide who they are just because of what someone might say or think of them, because at the end of the day, you are who you are. We know not everyone may agree with our lifestyle, but we ask that you educate yourselves on what you may not know or understand. This is how we make a positive change. Thank you.
At APHS, I have found students and teachers that support me as an individual, like Mrs. McMaster and Liliana here. Members of PRISM have always been really kind and caring people, and in my experience, they're some of the best friends I can make. They provide a safe space to share and express your feelings, any feelings at all, if you're feeling down, or if you want to share some exciting news, maybe you won a game, or scored really well on a test. PRISM has been like a second family that provides me the support some of my family and friends cannot. PRISM Club allows individuals to gather and plan new initiatives to not only support the LGBTQ+ community, but other more broad communities. For example, we started a project dubbed the Period Project, which provides free menstrual products to APHS students in the bathrooms. I've heard great feedback from people and wish to continue supporting the initiative. I love the community that PRISM provides because it does get hard sometimes to connect with others when they see you as an identity and not a person. Being able to contribute to the well-being of my fellow students, regardless of their gender identity, has been incredibly fulfilling. Allen Park has grown so much along with our nation. However, not everything is perfect, and some people still hold prejudices against the LGBTQ plus community. Fortunately, I have never been directly confronted with negative comments about my affiliation with the LGBTQ plus community, but I have heard whispers of not so kind thoughts. People tend to disregard PRISM accomplishments and creativity because they do not want to support the club involved with the LGBT plus community. I would like to create an environment where people like me are free to express themselves without judgment and prejudice. I hope that one day I will see the Allen Park community all joined together as one identity rather than separate groups. PRISM has given me the platform to make a difference in our community. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Now we move on to organizational business.
Once again, I have to follow up. Outstanding students that can speak eloquently at the podium. It's very difficult to do that, and under pressure, it's even more difficult. So, just a few updates on some projects going on here in the city of Allen Park. Start with the Rosedale Boulevard project. The contractor for that is Hard Rock Concrete. They have finished pouring all the concrete for Rosedale on the roadway itself. So they started pouring on April 20th, and they finished, I believe it was, let's say June 1st. So about 7 weeks total for that project to get poured. Quick pace, and I think a lot of that has to be to the fact that the road was closed to traffic. That made a big difference, that they could be out there and safely move and not have to worry about the traffic coming behind them and all that. So that is all poured from Southfield Road to Champaign Road. They're working on the side street repairs now, so the Thomas's, Marquise, all those side streets that are along that stretch, there are various areas that need to be repaired within about the first 100, 150 feet, either side of Rosedale. Restoration has begun, and they are working from Champaign Road working north to Southfield. And again, that Rosedale Boulevard will remain closed at Southfield Road for a short time longer, and that's for the safety of the workers. Again, made a big difference on the project there. A project that's going to wreak a lot of havoc for a lot of people. I apologize early on. Reek Road Water Main Replacement Reconstruction Project. Reek Road is now closed between Goddard Road and Midway Avenue. Temporary water main is being installed now, and they're going to start pipe bursting of for the new water main next week. If you can avoid that area, please do, because you're going to just get caught up in having to find other side streets to get back to Allen Road. So just stay on Allen Road, take it to Goddard, take it down to North Line. It'll save you a lot of time, just telling you that right now. Paris Avenue Reconstruction Project, Savone Cement has started that project with the installation of the storm sewers, which should be complete by the end of this week, and then concrete should be poured sometime next week, and then it'll be moving along as well. This is one that we did a water main recently as well, so that got finished, and now they're starting on the road work here. So inconvenience for the people, but they're going to have brand new water main, brand new road. It's all good. Concrete sectioning, Savone Cement is the contractor. They'll be starting July 1st in the area of E-Course Road between Pelham and Roosevelt, and both sides of E-Course Road at various areas. A library summer reading kickoff program takes place on Saturday, June 17th, and that's going to be from 10:30 to noon at the library. The replacement of the bleachers at the ice arena is now complete. If you get a chance to go over there, I know if you talk to Rob or Kyle, they may be able to sneak you in for a quick view of what's going on over there. The bleachers look phenomenal. The view from the top level, the top platform behind the benches, which is a spectacular view. There's a tunnel. I can see the skaters coming, running out that tunnel. Hopefully they got to make a little jog though, so they can't go directly on. But it's going to be a great atmosphere. I think with the students are in that area, it's going to be a lot of fun. It looks spectacular, and it's going to be a lot safer for people, and it's now handicap accessible too. So we're very pleased with that project. The Parks and Recreation mobile recreation program starts next week, the week of June 19th. I'm not too sure which parks those are at, but we'll get those posted. I believe they'll be posted on the Parks and Rec Facebook page, and we'll get those on the city Facebook page as well. Congratulations are due for Justin McLaughlin. He passed his Eagle S1 licensing exam for water distribution, and this is the highest exam level you can get for water distribution in the state of Michigan. This is level that directors usually have to have. I believe we have Tom Murray is an S1. We now have Justin. I believe we have Justin Ogden as well. So these guys are really taking to that test and getting that exam and getting that under their belt. Andy Lozon has also passed his exam for level 2, an S2 licensing exam. So congratulations to both those gentlemen. And then another quick congratulations and milestone being reached by Cheryl Bonner with the Water Department. She'll reach 15 years with the city on June 23rd.
May I have a motion to accept and file the administrator's report? Motion by Mr. Lally.
Second.
Second by Mr. Marcos. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion is carried. We now come to public comments. Anyone from the public may come up and comment on at this time. We have 4 minutes. All we want is your name and the street on which you live. We do not want to have the complete address.
Does this count for my 4 minutes?
That'd be funny.
We have a stopwatch, right? We drop the flag and the race starts.
Yeah, I'm sorry those kids left. I wanted to say, I stand behind them for what they're doing, and all you need is love. And if everybody would work on that assumption, no matter what. How do people hate people for, they don't even know, Jews, for instance, blacks, gays. So I love that you made that proclamation last meeting, and I stand behind it. Couple of things. Abby Russell
Oh, yeah.
won the state in D1 for the disc, and she was second in the shot. So wanted to put a shout out to her. Very nice girl, very humble, and she deserves a shout out. Let's see, did that. Now, the thing about the Allen Park Citizen Civic Fund, and I wanted to do a shout out to them. That's coming up this Thursday. So if you don't have a ticket yet, they're only $30, and you can eat, drink, and have a fun time. We're gonna have Mike Bodell as our DJ, and it's just a really great time to get together. It's almost like a mini street fair, you know, everybody knows everybody. So get your tickets. It's $35 at the door, and we'd love to have you there. And Dennis Marcos, I want to put a shout out. He has a hidden talent. He donated a beautiful handmade slide guitar, and I just have to shout that out, and that's going to be one of our raffle items.
He made it?
He handmade, and I saw it, and it's beautiful. So namaste, appreciate that.
Wow.
The last thing, I know it's all nice, but wait. And this is even cool. I actually read the packet. I kind of muddled through all of those financial numbers. I don't know what they mean. But I saw a mention of a master plan. And I was wondering, is that going to be tied in with the studio, or not, the movie? Did I do that on purpose?
You did.
So is that going to be tied in? Because I, again, would like to volunteer to be on the public hearing committee. I've been on many committees over the last 40 years, and I'd love to serve on this one. So if you're considering anybody, I'd like to do that and hear a little bit more about the master plan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you're doing.
If no one else is coming up for public comments, we will close that portion of the meeting and move on to our consent agenda. On tonight's consent agenda, we have purchasing actions consisting of claims and accounts and the payroll report, and finance actions, which are the finance overview, budget to actual report, balance sheet, and cash flow. Motion.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Lally.
Second.
Second by Mr. Valerius. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Resolution 1 is to award the update of the City of Allen Park Master Plan to Carlisle Wortman in an amount not to exceed $22,000, with funds for this project to come from the ARPA account. May I have a motion?
Motion, Mayor.
Motion by
Second.
Mr. Schlack, seconded by Mr. Lloyd. I think we have some additional.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have Mike Auerbach, who's the city planner, come up and help explain the process here. But the purpose of this is to, as we're required by state law to review the master plan and make any adjustments every 5 years. We're just slightly beyond that point by probably about 6 to 8 months, maybe just short of a year, maybe. But we're in the process going, which is still better than where we were at years ago, because when we did it back in 2017, we hadn't touched it since 1978. So we're getting a little bit better this time.
I have to add, out of 26 names on our previous master plan, only 2 people were still alive. So that has been
Fun
how
fact.
long?
There you go. Mike's useless information that you may need.
I couldn't believe my own eyes.
We may need that one day, though. Where's Jim Gross at for trivia night? You know. So the process here is to update the plan. I'll let Mike go through a little bit of that process, and then before he gets done to take a vote, I'm going to ask the council to maybe consider adding a contingency amount to this amount that we have listed here, based on some questioning that came about in the prior in the study session regarding public involvement in additional meetings that may be required for that aspect.
Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Kibbe, Mayor and Council, and thank you for your consideration and working with us or requesting our assistance to update the city's master plan. As Mr. Kibbe mentioned, the master plan's a policy guide for land use and future development in the city. It's not a binding document, but it lays out the community's goals and objectives for the future and is the basis for the zoning ordinance and land use related decisions that the council and planning commission make. The state requirement of the Planning Enabling Act is that communities with a master plan updated every 5 years. The extent of the update is up to the community, just as long as it's revisited and readopted. So in discussions with staff, we've identified some key items within the plan to update, which is what we summarized in the letter included in the packet. And with your approval, we'll move forward working with staff, the Planning Commission, members of the council, and can have further discussions with all of you to decide how you'd like to engage the public and other constituents with the process as well.
So let me go back, just kind of highlight a couple of those items there. The update of the census data is one of those bullet points. Community goals, public engagement, and then the land use plan. This process here, once they go through and do the update, it'll come back to City Council for a final approval. That was one of the questions earlier, I believe. Councilman Slack made sure that the council would be approving this. So you're not approving it right now. They'll do the document, they'll update everything, and then bring it back for final approval at a later date. We guesstimate, based on this process, it could be anywhere from 6 to 8 months in that time frame. Just based on the minimum requirements of postings and so forth, we determined that's probably about 3 months of just postings alone. And we get those postings come in from the city of Dearborn and our neighboring communities, because it is required to go to your neighbors. And we do get theirs on occasion as well, if there's any changes that we need to let them know of.
Yes.
That'll be part of this process as well.
That's correct, yes, and just so you're aware, the process, there'll be several notices that will come to you, and as the legislative body, the council will formally authorize to distribute to those neighboring communities, the regional planning authority, SEMCOG, as well as utilities, railroads, and those are all state requirements that are just a part of the process that any community would go through. There's another procedural item. It's best practice to, at the beginning, for council to pass a resolution electing to be the approving body for the master plan. Again, that's just another step listed in the act that is pretty typical. So there'll be a number of, and in addition to all that, we can keep you updated about the update process. However, specifically, we decided to proceed. So there'll be, this will be coming back to this body a number of times as we move forward.
We put in here for the amount was for 22,000. I'd ask that the council consider adding a contingency of $5,000 to that amount, just in case we run into some concerns of extra costs associated with the public engagement aspects.
So, Madam Mayor, I have a motion by Schlack, supported by Lloyd. Are you agreeable to that amendment?
Yes. Yes.
Then it shall have a
Yes.
5,000, what would you call it? Contingency?
Contingency.
You would call it that. So noted for the record. So the motion on hand is basically not to exceed 25,000.
27.
27.
Or 27. I went to Cabrini, I apologize.
See? It's not just me.
Oh, man.
You had to hear the joke in the study session to get it.
Hey, I didn't say I paid attention.
You had 5 on your mind, that's where that came from. I totally understand. Does anyone have any questions that they would like to pose to Mr. Auerbach, or?
I just want to say, I worked with Mike and John Enos from the company, and these guys they really know their stuff. And they're incredibly diplomatic how they handle people. I'm thoroughly amazed. They have more cool than I'll ever have in handling some of the situations. But these guys really do know their stuff. It was really great to work with them.
Through the chair.
Yes.
Similar experience, had the privilege of working with Mike. We just came with them just with the problem of the fact that we had vape shops popping up everywhere. Mentioned it offhand to him, came back to us a month later, and he had thoroughly researched it. He had multiple options for us, recommendations how to move forward. Very thorough, very professional. Had nothing but excellent experience with Mike and with Carlisle Wortman. So I think that the future of Allen Park is very safe in their hands.
The public master plan process is a chance for public engagement and to provide input back to the council. Is correct?
That's correct. Yep.
I believe Joe.
Well, that was in that same vein. So part of this process, the public can be involved. There'll be public hearings. You'll accept comments and questions, and as he mentioned, you will answer diplomatically.
Yes, and the specifics of engagement, we can discuss further, but there's a variety of options for, and on multiple opportunities to get the public involved.
There are no further questions. We will take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. And now we come to ordinances. This evening, we have the first and second reading of proposed ordinance number 4-2023. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Lally.
Second.
Second by Mr. Blevins. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Joel, if you'll do the first and second reading, please.
Mention anything, what this is
Sure.
about? or-
Yeah, just real quickly for members of the public, what this is just something to give our buildings department another tool in their toolbox to help motivate citizens to comply with building ordinances. So one of the problems that we have, something that has come up is somebody might be out of compliance with a particular ordinance, and they get a $200 fine, and instead of actually addressing the issue, they just come and pay the $200 fine. Well, in reality, we don't want the $200. We want the homeowner or the building owner to address the issue. So what this does is that it allows them, it doesn't take anything away, and that's important. It just gives them another option to file it as a civil infraction. Is that the correct term?
Yes.
A civil infraction, which gives them a little bit more flexibility and gives the judge more flexibility in the way that they issue their decision to make it so that they are addressing the issue and not just, putting the Band-Aid of paying the fine and moving on. So this is, again, just another way of helping Mr. Baker help keep our city beautiful and up to the standards that we all expect. We did.
A reading, yes.
First reading by title only of proposed ordinance 04-2023. An ordinance of City of Ellen Park Code of Ordinances amending Chapter 1, General Provisions by the adoption of Section 1-15, Municipal Civil Infractions as enforcement option to allow the city an additional enforcement option for certain stated offenses. Second reading of proposed ordinance 04-2023. An ordinance of City of Ellen Park Code of Ordinances amending Chapter 1, General Provisions by the addition of Section 1-15, Municipal Civil Infractions as enforcement option to allow the city an additional enforcement option for certain stated offenses. Thank you.
Thank you. We will move on to proposed ordinance number 5-2023, first and second reading. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Valerius,
Second.
second by Mr. Marcos. Any questions or comments?
This one's a lot easier. We've been in the process in the last year of updating all of our ordinances related to our commissions. I believe after this one, we just have festivities. I think this will be our final one. So nothing major. I came in front of the Parks and Rec Commission. I ran all the changes by them, and this is very consistent with what we have already passed with historical and beautification. So just making sure that all of them have standard language.
Any other questions? May I call for a vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? First and second reading, please.
First reading, proposed ordinance 05-2023, an ordinance of City of Ellen Park Code of Ordinances, amending Chapter 2, Administration, Article 5, Boards, Commissions, Committees, and Authorities by the repeal and readoption of Division 14, Parks and Recreation Commission, to update the division. Proposed ordinance 05-2023, an ordinance of City of Ellen Park Code of Ordinances, amending Chapter 2, Administration, Article 5, Boards, Commissions, Committees, and Authorities by the repeal and readoption of Division 14, Parks and Recreation Commission, to update the division. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we come to third item. I'm sorry.
Joe's read a lot of them, so I'll do these now. Mayor, I bring before you the third reading, and after a vote is taken, the public hearing for proposed ordinance number 3-2023, an ordinance of the City of Allen Park Code of Ordinances amending Chapter 38, Solid Waste, Article 2, Collection and Disposal, Division 1, generally, by the repeal and readoption of Section 38-33, Parking Prohibition on Collection Day, to update this section.
May I have a motion for the third reading?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Lloyd, supported by, I'm sorry, Mr.
Mr.
Schlack.
Slack.
I have a vote on that. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, I think, third reading? Okay, you read before, okay. Now we'll open. Oh, okay. Do I need a motion to open the public hearing? All right. We'll open the public hearing on this before we move on to adoption. Anyone wishing to come up and speak on this ordinance may do so at this time.
Just so everybody knows, this is an ordinance that changes the hours for garbage collection and street cleaning from 8 to 4 to 7 to 5. And the reason for that change is that that is what GWA is contracted in order to pick up that. And as some of you may have noticed in the streets, that they are struggling to pick up in between that 8 to 4 time. It also gives our Department of Public Works some additional times to get out there with the street cleaners to be able to get the streets cleaned. So that is what this ordinance is for.
Thank you.
Me through the chair, I believe that also was in the previous advanced disposal contract, and I believe it might have been in the Republic contract before that.
Really? Just inconsistent with the ordinance?
It didn't match up to our signs.
Yeah.
Well, and one of the history, doing the history, you got to remember, prior to not too long ago, the garbage company didn't need your car off the street. They would put people out to grab it around your car, bring it in. It's basically you're catching up to modern times. Now they have to roll up, scoop it up, and dump it.
Yeah.
So that's why it was inconsistent. So it was more or less for the street sweepers to get down, and they didn't start till 8 a.m. So.
Thank you. Since no one is coming up from the public, we will close the public hearing and move on to the adoption of ordinance number 3/2023. May I have a motion to adopt? Motion by Mr. Lally,
Second.
second by Mr. Valerius. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Madam Mayor, I bring before the board, or the attorney does, the adoption of ordinance number 3-2023, an ordinance of the City of Allen Park Code of Ordinances amending Chapter 38, Solid Waste, Article 2, Collection and Disposal, Division 1, generally, by the repeal and readoption of Section 38-33, parking prohibition on Collection Day. To update this section, shall this ordinance pass? Councilman Blevins?
Yes.
Pro Tem Lally?
Yes.
Councilman Lloyd?
Yes.
Councilman Marcos?
Yes.
Mayor McLeod?
Yes.
Councilman Schlack?
Yes.
And Councilman Valerius?
Yes.
The yeses have it. The ordinance will be published in a manner prescribed by law and take effect shortly after. Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you. And now we come to council comments. And this evening, we start out with Councilman Blevins.
Good evening. First off, thank you all for coming and coming up to speak. First off, great job to, once again, Parks and Rec, especially with the bleachers. And it's great to see more and more things happening in our Parks and Recs and the community center updates and everything. So good job to the department. I want to say thank you to all the student commissioners for this year that have been part of any of the commissions, and then as well, if any of these students that were seniors that are graduating, you can always come and apply and be in a commissioner yourself. Also, congrats to Mrs. Bowner in the water department for 15 years. I fortunately know her kids from school, so it's great. Wonderful person, and again, great job to Mrs. Bowner. To the VFW and American Legion, great job with the Memorial Day ceremony up on the hill. Always fantastic job to them. Keep making sure you're looking at the events page on our website, or if you have a Facebook, many events happening in the next few weeks. I want to make sure you're supporting local businesses, and also with make sure, especially this, I know it's still spring, it's close to summer, to always watch where you're going while driving. There's more people walking around, motorcycles, there's so many accidents happening. So please make sure you're double checking while you're going and stuff. Because again, it's just too much happening in the last few months. And but please make sure that you're being safe while going out, especially at night. Or, you know, if you're going for a walk, wear something bright like what I'm wearing right now. But, you know, just want to say that lastly, to always treat others the way you want to be treated. I know that's what my parents always told me. It amazes me, these students that come up and speak, the prison club. I know back in the day I wasn't able to do that, and just the courage with them, and it's just wonderful. And to those in the community, especially for the last 4 years, I'm always honored being up here representing myself and the LGBTQ group. And I've always wished there was someone, like they said, that there'd be more representative in the city. When I was younger, I wished there was someone, and I'm glad to be honored to be that person. And I'm always the support of anyone. If they ever feel like they can't be themselves, I'm always, even if I'm not up here, I will always be a supporter to each and every one of the 28,000 plus residents in the city, no matter who you are. So please, always, not even June, all year, please be respectful to everyone, no matter who they are. And as always, stay positive and be thankful for every day, because life is too short. And with that, God bless, and I yield. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Mr. Marcos.
Just a couple things going on in the city. Lynn, I wanted to expound a little bit on your the pizza, beer, and wine tasting for the civic fund. The profits go to the fire department, the rescue department. They're getting these packets for people who have emergencies. They can put them on their magnets on their refrigerators, or packets in their glove box of their car for emergency purposes. I also want to give a 3-minute guitar lesson free, whoever gets that guitar. Because it's different. And it's at the Civic Center, and it's on the 15th, Thursday, from 6 to 9. Also, let's see, on the 21st, we have the car show from 4 to 9 downtown. And on Sunday, of course, is Father's Day, so hopefully all the fathers will get taken care of, won't have to work, get taken care of by their family. Also want to congratulate all the Allen Park graduates graduating this year. And I also wanted to congratulate my eldest granddaughter, Alyssa, who graduated from Chippewa Valley, unfortunately, not Allen Park, but Chippewa Valley, graduated summa cum laude. She got several awards. She got several scholarships for volleyball. And she's deciding not to take any of the scholarships, stay home, and go to college locally. So, smart kid, works, good kid. So, congratulations to my granddaughter. Other than that, the farmer's market, remember, every Friday, 4 o'clock, was it 4 to 8, 4 to 7? 4 to 8? 4 to 7? Okay. I'm always there early, so I just don't know.
3 to 7.
Pardon?
3?
Oh, I don't get out there early. Okay, 3 to 7. Anyway, the farmer's market's always a good time. Always got good stuff there. And last of all, my useless thing of the day is Weed Your Garden Day and World Softball Day. That's all for me. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Mr. Lally.
Thank you, Mayor. On May the 29th, as they said, about the Memorial Day celebration at the Auto Drive and Southfield Road, sponsored by the American Legion and VFW. Very, very proud of the police department, Honor Guard Police Department. They did a beautiful job, as always. If you see him, thank him. I really thank the whole outfit. Very good. Fish and Loaves had an open house, and I was invited to go there. Fish and Loaves is off of North Line, and I think it's Brownstown or something, out towards the airport. Fish and Loaf, I don't know if you guys know Fish and Loaf. They serve 7 communities downriver here. And last year, they gave almost 3 million pounds of food, meals, to people around here. Believe it or not, there's a lot of people out there that need bread to eat. And that's what Fish and Loaf does. And they supply the whole 7 community. We had Kids Day at Kiwanis Club at Duda Park. It was a beautiful day. They had a great time. The kids were having a good time with the fire trucks and the police cars and hot dogs and painted face. They do this every year. The Kiwanis do this every year. If you see the Kiwanis member, thank you for what they do. They take care of the kids in the world. Congratulations to all the graduates of Ellen Park and Cabrini students. May God bless them in their way. I got invited to the Ellen Park Presbyterian Church for a baccalaureate worship service. It was a very beautiful celebration. I want to thank you for having me there, and I want God bless all the students. And before I forget, I want to thank happy birthday to my wife, which will be tomorrow, Flag Day. So make sure you put your flags up tomorrow. At least put it up for the nation, too. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you. Mr. Lloyd.
Every year is a reminder that my mom and your wife share the same birthday. So happy birthday to my mom as well tomorrow. How long is that guitar lesson, Marco? 3.5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to need more than that. All right, I'm going to hold you to that. All right. Okay, so first off, Abby Russell, amazing young lady, only a junior. If you guys don't remember, as a sophomore last year was a state champ in both the discus and the shot put. Believe it or not, she had an off day in the shot put. So she still put off a remarkable performance. So very excited to see what she does in the future. Very, very impressive young woman. We'll have to. I don't believe that she was able to make it last year when we gave her a proclamation. So we're gonna have at least one more chance. I'm pretty sure. And Mr. Kettlehut, you know, known Lynn for a very long time. Appreciate your wisdom in all your years. I think next to Mr. Mizzy here, I think that you might be the rival for the keepers of Allen Park history and things that have happened. You know that I'm a huge believer in looking to the past to help navigate the future. We will definitely take you up on that offer for helping us in developing a plan for the future of Allen Park, and very much appreciate you offering that to us. Just to our young people that were here today, Christian, may or may not remember, was here in 2021, the first year that we did a Pride Declaration as a freshman, and he has been back every year since. He is now going to be a senior next year. He was in my Advanced Placement U.S. History class last year, Advanced Placement Chemistry, just a remarkable individual, and so proud of the things that he does. For anybody that's gotten up at this podium, for any reason, whether, and that's myself included, you know that it's not an easy thing to do, to get up in front of this dais of people and to speak from the heart about especially something so personal and close to them. And I couldn't be more proud of the work that they do at Allen Park High School, and by extension, the work that they do within this community. You know, to that note, I'm very proud to serve up here with Charles Blevins, who is every time he comes up to the dais is unapologetically himself. And I am so appreciative that our young people have an example like him, a proud, openly gay man who serves as an elected official in the city. You don't know how much it means. And I know that my nephew is a member of the LGBTQ community, and he texts me, and he's excited. He's like, oh, Councilman Blevins was in Ace Hardware today. It's like he's a local celebrity. So representation matters. Seeing people like you, seeing people that are members of your community, in the community, representing people, that matters. And Allen Park High School is an easier place now for members of the LGBTQ community than it was for for Councilman Blevins. And I know, because of the work that these young people are doing right now, that if my son Robbie's a member of the LGBTQ community, it'll be easier for him then. And it's a truly amazing thing to see these young people putting that work into this community to make this a place where Allen Park can be an open environment for everybody. Doesn't matter who you love, how you worship, what you look like. So just incredibly proud of those young people, and it's one of those days that I am proud to be an Allen Parker. And with that, I yield.
Hilarious.
Good evening. Again, they all left, but I wanted to also just echo my fellow councilman members about the Prism Club for Allen Park High School. Again, coming up, I taught speech and public speaking for 15 years, and to come up and give a presentation like they did is pretty remarkable. So I thank them for being here this evening and for their words, for sure. Kudos again to, a lot of things go unnoticed in the community. And I know I seen a picture, and then I also read it on the minutes for the fire department. I wanted to thank Wayne and Pam Smith for serving them lunch. These little things, of course, I imagine the fire department crew could probably put away some serious food. But I appreciate the little things as well, and kudos to you for doing that for our fire department and community. Tomorrow marks the end of my 20th year as a teacher. Last day of school tomorrow for me. I love what I do. I look forward to it, and I look forward to my 21st year. Just to want to thank every student I have ever taught in all those years, because they're kind of what motivates me to do what I do. And for fellow teachers, like my fellow councilman, Mr. Lloyd, I appreciate you choosing to educate, as well as my wife, who's completing her 26th year as a teacher. Kind of digressing from I teach in Woodhaven. Just wanted to give kudos. They have just found out the softball team won today, so we have our softball team and our baseball team in the Final Four for the state tournament for Division I. So go Warriors. And with that, I yield.
Thank you. Mr. Slack.
Thank you, Mayor. I also want to thank the Prism Club for coming up here and giving a little speech about the club, and I know it's a big help for those students in Allen Park High School, and also go ahead and once again congratulate to all the students that have graduated around our city in the last couple of weeks. Big accomplishment. I'm sure expect big things, and I'm sure they're excited to enjoy a little summer before they get back at it to whatever dream they pursue to follow. I also want to wish everyone a very, all the gentlemen up here, happy Father's Day, and all the gentlemen around Allen Park, especially to, I think, Mr. Lloyd, I think you're celebrating your first Father's Day, so definitely take, it's a special one. The first one's very special. At least I found it to be very special. So definitely happy Father's Day. Be sure to, if you have a flag, put it up tomorrow. And before we meet again, will be Juneteenth. It's a little known, when we started, I started talking about Juneteenth a couple years ago. It wasn't quite a holiday, then it's become a federal holiday. So to me, Juneteenth is something to remember and to remind everyone what is Juneteenth. Juneteenth is actually a date combining the words June and 19th. On June 19th, 1865, Major General Gordon Granger led the Union soldiers to Galveston, Texas to announce the end of the war and the freedom of all enslaved people. So it's a very big moment in our history. It's something to definitely reflect and think about on that day. And just don't think of it just a day where some things are closed, some things are open. Just there is significance to that day. With that being said, I think my fellow council members mentioned about everything that is to be said. I know the mayor will say a few other words that she has to say. And with that, I yield. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mizzi, is there anything you would care to comment on?
Well, I just got to give credit to Lynn with the history division, because a lot of the stuff I say I've stolen off some of his material. And I do show off that 1949 aerial that you donated. I do recognize you for it, but I show it off as my own. So. But just like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. God bless you. Good night.
Thank you. I will try and keep this brief. It's always a pleasure to listen to my fellow council members, because it just means that I don't have to remember everything and we don't have to be redundant. But I would go back to mentioning the fish and loaves. That was the first time I had visited their facility. I had no idea how large it was. And one of the things that they mentioned most of all was the fact that the dignity that's involved there, where people come in and it's like shopping at any other grocery store, and they can go through and pick up. It's not boxed for them. They get to select what they need and what they want. Very impressive situation. And I ran into one of our residents who's a long-term volunteer there and on their board. And I also bumped into someone that I had bowled with about 30 years ago. It was like, so you never know who you're going to meet there. And also the Presbyterian Church Baccalaureate, which they have annually. Very nice to see all the graduates there who are part of that church. And I can't lose track of that because my neighbor across the street belongs and they help coordinate that. But I saw Mr. O'Reilly's daughter there and very proud of her, and she spoke. And Mr. Lloyd was also a presenter. So it's one of those nice functions that we get to go to and help our residents celebrate together. Don't let me forget Abby Russell. And I do send a letter out to all the graduates from all the schools in Allen Park because I want them to know how very proud we are of all of them. But, and then while we're on that subject, I wanted to try and figure out how to address this. I would like to recognize and acknowledge a young lady named Lydia Capoletti. She is a recent Allen Park High School graduate, and to say that she's an outstanding scholar and individual would be an understatement. Not only was Lydia her class valedictorian, but I was contacted by the Coca-Cola Scholars Foundation, who let me know that Lydia had been awarded a $20,000 scholarship. And I'd like to read a portion of the email they sent me. Pleased to share that Lydia Capoletti, an exceptional 2023 graduate of Allen Park High School, has been recognized as one of the country's most outstanding high school leaders by the Coca-Cola Scholars Foundation. The Coca-Cola awarded Lydia a $20,000 college scholarship to her school of choice, and as a member of the 35th class, she was selected from over 91,000 applicants, 1,557 semifinalists, and 250 regional finalists. They were selected based on their academic accomplishments as well as their dedication to their school and community. I'm also going to share some information related to this scholarship that was included on the Scholars Foundation website. She is an author and advocate. She has authored the young adult book, Half the Truth, and a poetry book, Sparks and Ashes, which reflects on the many facets of being a teenager in today's world. She serves as president of her school's SAD chapter. She planned and executed the first Red Ribbon Week to advocate for passengers and encourage safe decisions on the roads, which earned her, the club, the Exceptional Service Project Award. She has also served as her student council's executive board president, orchestrating a Charity Week initiative and raising thousands of dollars for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, Children's Heart Foundation, Kids Talk, First Step, and Night Angels. I also found out that she was one of 13 high school seniors from Michigan who were semifinalists in this year's selection process for the 161 students who were named 2023 U.S. Presidential Scholars. And these selections were made from more than 5,000 candidates, which is a very elite group. And I found out in talking to Mr. Darga that she will be attending the University of Michigan's Ross School of Business in Ann Arbor, majoring in business. And according to Lydia, quote, I chose to major in business due to my diverse interests and in problem-solving orientation. And all I can say is Lydia is going to go a long, long way in this world, and we should be extremely proud of her. So with that, I have nothing more to say. I'm not going to repeat anything that my council members said, and I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Lally. Second by Mr. Marcos. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at 7 p.m. Thank you all very much, and have a wonderful Father's Day.